Are you totally different when it comes to sex and copulation? Have you judged yourself out of receiving pleasure? Have you judged yourself into receiving pleasure in certain ways and excluded other ways? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here is the host of The Pleasure Zone, pleasure diva and body whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic. I'd like to really welcome all of you to the show tonight for a topic called Quickies. Do they create more for you? So this is something that in my life I know I've used Quickies as a tool for different things. And so I'm looking forward to kind of looking at this topic a little more in depth. It always amazes me that these topics actually have more depth to them than just like one word. So, hey, Quickies, I thought that was the whole topic and there's nothing else to say. So, yeah, it's interesting actually as I'm repeating it, I'm getting more information about Quickies. Like even visiting somebody for a Quickie, is it as satisfying as, visiting them and being with them and hanging out with them and really enjoying your body, being around their body, even if you're not copulating, right? So, and sometimes, there are those instances where it's like, yep, the Quickie will just do 10 minutes and bye-bye. So it's a really good thing to know that it's possible. On a very interesting note, it's possible your body's more aware than you think it is. So we'll get more into that, though. I'd like to introduce you guys a bit to myself. So if you've never heard of me and you're just walking into this show, welcome. One of the things that I love to offer on the planet is more ease for bodies. And I realized this weekend I was in a phenomenal class with my friend who was the facilitator, Christine McIver, facilitated a foundation class this weekend that blew my mind open. Blew my mind open in a way that I wasn't there was some stuff that was still going on for me that I wasn't aware of about myself. And one of the things that I really became aware of about myself is how, for me, my desire to be on this planet really relates to my desire to contribute to people and bodies, and crazy intense joy for living when I get to do that, and a crazy intense joy for exiting this life and this body when that is not in my life. So it is really it's really something. Like, for you guys out there, if you're, and I'm bringing this up because a lot of us are doing things really quickly, just in and out, and not totally being present. And that's part of Quickies. For some people, they can be incredibly present with Quickies, and for some people, you can feel like the person isn't present with you. So for me, being present with bodies, having bodies be present with me and my body, for me, is what has me choose embodiment. In other words, I could choose to leave. I could choose to, I could choose suicide. I could choose, medications. I could choose all kinds of things that would actually trigger, death stuff in the body, as in like leaving the body. I could choose that, and I get that. That is something that's been coming up for more than just me as people in the world. How much is it that we actually desire to have something that's more less surface level, maybe less fast, maybe we'd really like to enjoy each other's company. It's funny because we finally maybe for me in my life, I finally started to like meet people that that I really enjoy, and now I'm like breaking down and crying. And a lot of them are now choosing that they're not choosing to be in bodies, and even though like I've had talks with them about it, it's there's like a great sort of dissatisfaction happening on the planet, and I wonder how much of it is that we're just doing this. I'm so fucking busy. I'm so this or I'm so that. That I don't have time for anything. I don't have time for living. I don't have time for enjoying. I don't have time for pleasure because, like, wow, it's what if we could just be kinder with buddies, and what if we could be kinder with each other and receive from each other? It's well, I can say officially that I don't think I've ever really cried on my show before, so congratulations, universe, for contributing to that. It's I get how deeply I desire a world where we are kinder to each other and we're kinder to bodies and that we're willing to receive from each other. So for those of you out there who, you might be going through this too. You might be going through this. Why the F am I choosing to be alive? Like, what's going on? How much and how deeply do you actually desire to be received for more than a second, for more than a flash in time? What if you truly deeply desire, somebody being present with you being present with you completely while you're choosing this embodiment? I know for me, that choosing to be present with people really for me creates so much more for me. I get an incredible joy for choosing it, and and for those of you out there who are like looking for what could, I don't even know what brings me joy. What if just starting with that, like starting with being present with you, or even with another body and if you really have like in your life where you're like, there are no bodies that I actually enjoy, there's nobody that I care about, I get that. If you want to just be present with this show, even for like 1 minute while you listen, just be present with me on this show for 1 minute and just like hang out with me. That'd be so cool. So even though maybe we're not in the same room together, we can still be present with each other. We can still be present with people that we don't even know. You don't have to know a person's name to be present with them. You don't have to be in the room to be present with them. And the funny thing is like the whole thing with being present with people is we sometimes actually, when we know people, we take it for advantage or take it for granted that, oh, they're going to be around. So, I can be half-assed present with them today because I'll see them again. And I had an amazing gift today that really, truly reminded me that, yeah, there's no more half-assed being present with people or myself. If I'm choosing that, I can just as easily choose to go for no more embodiment. And I really get how much I truly choose to be present with people while they're in my life and thoroughly enjoy them. So I'm having a little emotional breakdown today. And so is there anybody in your life that you truly deeply care about that is maybe not, maybe having a hard time right now choosing embodiment? Would you just be willing to be present with them through their choice, through their, through all of their stuff, and just be an allowance of them? Let's stop doing quickies with each other when it comes to care. Let's stop doing quickies with each other when it comes to presence, being present. I'll just be quick with this, 5 seconds, I'm present with you. I had no idea this conversation was going in this direction today. Quite frankly, I had no idea where this conversation was going. And I get that there is something that is, that we keep creating this passing by kind of experience. Like, oh, there you are. I'm busy. I'm going to, look at my my phone, or I'm going to look at this. I can't fully be present with you, because how much do we also know that, when we are fully present with somebody, that it's a really vulnerable experience, and are we even willing to be that? If we were truly willing to be vulnerable with bodies, would quickies even occur, or would we get how much bodies truly, every body that I know, even my mom's body, who doesn't really like hugging, does like having people be present with it. So, how much is it that we truly desire to have somebody be present with our body for more than 5 minutes or more than 10 minutes? And we know how much of a contribution we can be to their body and they can be to our bodies. I get, for me, that I was maybe like, quickies can be fun for me, and also I know that my partner, lover, when we're together, we're present with each other, and even when we're not, I'm always aware of them. So, what if we can be really listening to the bodies, and if we really were, instead of, just for fun, I thought I would do 5 seconds of research before the show. And it was funny, the one thing that I just looked at 2 articles, and one article actually indicated that, I think it was Wikipedia actually said that quickies, or I don't even remember what their term was for it, but that quickies are generally only satisfactory for one person, and usually leave the other person feeling something else, or rather, I interpreted it as one person gets an orgasm, the other person gets left feeling kind of empty. So, when we are with bodies, and, yes, one person can get off, maybe they have the orgasm and the other person doesn't. If you are willing to be present with the body that's receiving, there are ways it is possible for you to also receive more out of that than maybe you have been. And check with your body, because your body might desire way more touch, way more affection than it's getting. And that's it's a really good time to have a conversation with the person in your life who is your lover or whatever, your playmate, your husband or wife, whatever you want to label them. It may be a good time to have a conversation and say, what, looking at quickies for you, maybe quickies don't work for you. And it's not that you don't appreciate their efforts in the quickie. Maybe, they're like, hey, yeah, look at me, I did some good moves. Maybe they did do some good moves, and for their body that works just great. You got to acknowledge what works for your body. So I had a partner years and years ago, and I don't even know if we were having quickies. It's not like something I looked at the clock or anything. But at the time, I had this partner. I felt like I was like a jerk-off sleeve. So for me, it was like, all right, well, I could be here. It could be a balloon. It could be a toy. It wouldn't matter what it was, because I'm just this thing that you're going to come in. And that was it. And so for me, that was a real put off and a real turn off. And it really actually created this energy that I had towards them, that I started to resent them. And I really was like, I don't want to give you anything. I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to be with you. If all I am to you is a jerk off sleeve, I'm not interested. And it was like a super unattractive turn off for me. And the more I get that my body actually desires touch for prolonged periods of time, I could probably be hugged for 3 or 4 days straight, and I'd be great with that. So, if you really ask your body how, who would like to touch it and how much touch it would like, you might be surprised that you'd like to be touched probably 20 times to 30 times more than you are being touched right now. So on that note, we're going to head to break. I'll connect my energies with all of yours so that I can feel a little touched. And when we come back from break, a little more on quickies.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight our topic is quickies. So I know for some of you out there, you kind of thrive on quickies. There's, lots of people out there who kind of use each other in a way as kind of like masturbation sleeves, and that's the best way I can describe it. And if that works for you, choose it. That's awesome. And I know for some people who, as my friend Rhonda wrote in the chat room, for those of you out there who do have that ache of dissatisfaction with the level of connection and communion, yeah, there is this like total ache of dissatisfaction going on, on so many levels. And what if we do start with where we're creating that in our lives? And a lot of people are willing to fight about sex, but they're not really willing to look at the level of dissatisfaction that they have, where they're maybe feeling like a lack of connection, lack of communion, lack of or desire for more touch, desire for something different, a desire for a level of kindness that they've never had in their entire life, a desire for to be acknowledged. Like, how many of us would just love to be acknowledged? And when you're, when it's quickie time, do you feel that? Do you get a sense of being acknowledged, or just like this thing that gets to be utilized? It was interesting. One of the other articles that I read on quickies is that, and relationships and longevity and sex duration and all of that. I was wondering about what research kind of showed in terms of women and women relationships, men and men, and then men and women relationships. And the the research was showing that women with women seem to have a less frequency of copulation in their relationship. What it didn't say is how much touch in other ways those women are having with each other. Copulation between men and men is probably higher than the man-woman relationship. And that could be for a variety of, things going on in bodies and the way, women work with each other, work with, like, the way a woman's body gets turned on is different than the way a man's body gets turned on. So, for women and women to be together and just cuddle for hours or touch for hours, that is something that wasn't included in that. So the level of satisfaction, I think, was something that's missing. It's like they think that sexual satisfaction, according to all these researchers and how many people compare themselves to the average norm. Chatelaine says you should have sex for this long, for this many times for you to have a healthy relationship or whatever the judgment is. What if, what you're really measuring for you is your personal level of satisfaction rather than something that some research said? So if some research just said to you, if you're really going to have a good relationship, you should be having sex 3 to 5 times a week for at least 15 minutes at a time or whatever. There's a lot of crap in that. There's a lot of, averages made from numbers made by people who could be lying about stuff for all we know. We don't know that they're for sure telling the truth about what information they're setting out there. So please don't compare yourself to statistics, to what's normal, to check for you what and how much receiving your body would like. For those of you who aren't satisfied with quickies, I also wonder if your level of receiving has just skyrocketed and ramped up so that 10 minutes of sex really is like your body is like, I could really utilize more. I could really receive more. I'd love to receive more. Where when quickie is like, okay, fine, I'm good. That's it. That's all I require. Where's your level of receiving? I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong. I'm just like asking you, would you like to ramp up your level of receiving? And when you do ramp it up, does that also ramp up your desire to have more touch, more copulation, longer duration, deeper connection, more of a connection, more presence, all of that, Is that something that maybe as your level of receiving increases, so does your level of dissatisfaction with quickies? Just an idea. I don't know for sure. I'm just curious. I know for me, as my level of receiving ramps up, and like I was saying, after this class this weekend, so 4 days of energy work, as a dynamic facilitator, my level of receiving has definitely changed. It's definitely increased. My level of awareness of certain things has definitely increased. And with that, and my lover husband is always curious to see, like, when I come home from classes, he's like, kind of gauges out, like, where I'm at. And today I hadn't seen him for 5 days at this point. And when I saw him today, when I came home, he just kind of like stood and looked at me and allowed me to just like approach him for a hug when I felt like it, rather than like pushing it on me. He's amazing at gauging that. Also, just really, what he did say. So when I got home, it was funny. I had my hair cut today, so I got this like new look happening after the class. I'm feeling, quite a shift energetically after 4 days, and then facilitating bodies today myself. That I mean, my lover husband looked at me and he was like, so what's going on with you? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean? He's like, you're kind of being distant. And then I told him everything that was, not everything, but I told him stuff that was going on that I was like, aware of with people not choosing embodiment and, this level of dissatisfaction and stuff. And he just has this amazing way of just being present with me and just not judging what my response was. He's like, or not even judging their choices. He was just like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on for people, eh? I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on for people. Where I was coming with that was right after, so he looked at me and he was like, oh, it's like I get to have sex with a new person tonight. And then something energetically shifted in my body and I was like, but I don't want a quickie. I had already concluded it was going to be a quickie. And he didn't say anything about that. And that's when he was like, oh, what's going on? You seem a little distant. And I realized that when he said that, I completely pulled my energy out of the possibility of anything. So I can change that. I can flow that back to him and I can see what can be created, what can be received on a different level. Maybe my level of receiving has ramped up, and with that, maybe so is his level of gifting. Now there's an idea. So as we actually ramp up our level of receiving, can the person that we're copulating with, and if we're choosing somebody who's present with us, will they also maybe change, or their desire for quickies, will they change as their capacity to gift for you will be received? Like if somebody's willing to receive body work from me for hours and hours, I'm in. If they're willing to receive 10 minutes from me, I'm in. It's still, and that would be like a quickie, right? So it's like, okay, you can receive 10 minutes, cool. You can receive 7 hours, awesome. And I wonder if it's similar with sex, right? Where it's like if a person's body, say my body is willing to only receive so much and I've been getting quickies out of it, then interesting. So I wonder how much we could change as we change our level of receiving. Even though we might desperately desire to have more, we might not be willing to receive it. So in some way we might actually be refusing the person for various reasons, like, well, you'll abandon me, you'll fuck me over, you'll whatever, so I'm not going to increase my level of receiving because you don't have my back and I don't think you're going to stick around, so why would I be vulnerable with you to let my barriers down to receive more from you? What I do get, though, that when you start to really choose to receive regardless of whether they'll stay or they won't stay, and receiving from a person, whether they choose embodiment or choose to get out of their body. What if we received people fully, completely, ourselves as well, bringing those barriers down so that we can receive more than a quickie, and then quickies become a choice, not an auto response. A lot of people in relationships will I had a friend come by a couple of weeks ago, and she said something about, she just really was like, oh yeah, quickies, that's fine. She didn't want to have more sex than that with her husband, to copulate for more than 10 minutes with her husband. She was like, ugh, it was like effort to her. She wasn't really willing to receive him or from him. So it'll be interesting to see if anything shifts on her, because I kind of teased her about that. And sometimes teasing works as a tool to facilitate. So yeah, if you are having quickies and you're not satisfied with them, first, acknowledge that with yourself, because you might just have been playing the game of, okay, whatever, I'll take whatever I can get because I just would like something. How many of us are just like that? Even with money, it's like, fine, I'll just take whatever I can get. Something's better than nothing. What if we truly started to demand what we desire? And if that's longer copulation? What if that is more money? What is it that we aren't asking for? And as my friend Christine says in the chat room, aren't I cute? And I am cute because trust me, I've done all of this before. So how about if we go to break now, and when we come back, we will talk more about quickies.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight the topic is quickies. So if you're in a relationship where quickies are no longer working for you, they may be working for one partner but not the other, you got to start to ask if there's something that's changed for you on your level of receiving. Are you willing to receive more in sex in all areas of life, actually? And if you are, amazing. And if you're looking for the person you're with to be the one who fulfills your needs or your amount of time that you're copulating with, you got to be asking some questions around that, like, can this person fulfill that? Can this person actually deliver what I require and desire? And if they can deliver it, awesome. So start asking that. So truly, can this person deliver what I desire and require? And if you get a no, okay, cool. If you're willing to receive quickies from them, keep choosing it. That's awesome. Like, what can your body receive from the quickie? And if your body requires and desires more, what if you don't judge you for it? Where can your body receive that energy from? Is it another person? Is it a show? Maybe you're watching something sexy on TV and there's sexy bodies and you receive energy from them too. Could be yourself, could be trees, could be anything. Like, where and what can you receive it from if you're feeling like, you require more and you're just not quite getting it? And the willingness to not put all of the weight of the world on one person's shoulder to, like, be the one to satisfy you. fully and completely can also start to shift some stuff for them where, it's like if they think, oh my God, I have to be the one to like make love for 3 hours and this is like a lot of pressure and I just want to like get my rocks off and whatever. Okay, cool. And what can you add to your life that will actually bring you a sense of more ease in your body with your body? So for me, I require touching bodies a lot. It's really fun for me to be able to touch bodies. I get like a sense of contributing to my life, to the planet, to change, to more expansion, to ease. Like when I get to work on bodies, for me, it's like one of I don't know, the most expansive, joyful things I could choose. I don't know how else to describe it. And so for me, having a business where the possibility of having somebody show up and I get to touch them is one of my smartest moves I've made in this lifetime, I have to say. So, knowing that that's what I actually need and require, and then creating that as a way to sustain my life and living. So if you're somebody who requires and desires way more touch in your world, maybe you're not receiving it, and maybe you have a little bit of skill or a heck of a lot of skill and talent and capacities with bodies and movement and ease and energy and all kinds of stuff to create ease in bodies, you might consider actually starting something. Maybe you want to become a massage therapist or a somatic body worker or an energy worker. There might be something that's working for you that you could add to your life so that you can get the touch and receive the touch that you desire. There's, being stimulated with you, having your vulva stimulated, or for guys having your penis stimulated. All of that, that's one energy of stimulating and gifting to bodies. And then there's so many other ways. So explore which ones you actually like. You might have the point of view that you don't desire quickies because you'd like more touch, but you've assumed that it's like, say, stroking, having your clitoris stroked or having your penis stroked. You might have assumed that it's that, and it might actually be that that's great for 10 minutes, and what you really desire is having your body touched, hugged, contact with another body might be everything that will give you that sense that it isn't a quickie. The copulation itself might be 10 minutes, but the presence with your body and the kindness to your body may actually be going on for hours. And it doesn't mean that it's foreplay. It may be that the foreplay you require is having somebody be present with you. They might just touch your shoulder or hold your hand, and that'll do it for you. Because we make ourselves way more complicated than we are. Our bodies are sensory organs. They're sensory because they like touch, they like sensations, they have sensations. It's really simple. If your body is a sensory organ, it likes to be stimulated in different ways. So guess what? If you stimulate it, if you allow other people to stimulate it, you might find that you're going to receive way more with your body and from bodies and be able to gift to bodies without thinking that it has to be done a certain way or a right way or a perfect way. And then your body can have more joy and less of the feeling of separation that sometimes occurs with quickies where, it's like 10 minutes and then you feel like this, oh my God, what happened? Where are they in my universe? Because the body parts came together, but there was no sense of communion with the bodies or with the earth or like really being aware of it. Some people can be aware in a split second, and for some people it takes a few more minutes, right? So if you are able to like tap into your awareness, connect with everything, have your body feel energized, alive, orgasmic in like 2 minutes, amazing. How amazing and lucky are you for creating that amazingly cool body that can sense that in 2 minutes? And for some of us, it may take more time than that. It may take 5, 10, 20 minutes. And even though it may only take 5, 10, or 20 minutes, you may enjoy it for like an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or a whole day. I could hear some of you already going, a whole day? I dare you to actually receive and gift and receive and have amazing connection with your body. And if you happen to have a lover, to have connection with a lover's body for one whole day. Like, what would your world be like if you chose that from a place of consciousness where you're like asking the body for the whole day, hey body, what do you desire and require? Do you desire and require anything? And touch. If you actually had a full day of being touched, would you ever even feel like there was a lack of touch and communication? I spent, so in the last 4 days, I've had a lot of body work, different energy work on my body. And even by day 4, my body was like ramped up to, I remember saying like, I could receive for like 5 hours right now, 5 or 6 hours. And I would just be like blissed out, joyful. Where maybe a few years ago, like 1 hour would just like dump me and I was like finished. But yeah, now I get like, wow, I could actually like receive for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And what joy have we been refusing with the quickies we've been choosing is what I wonder. And for those of you who do enjoy quickies, it's not a judgment on you. I'm just wondering if you would like to receive more than quickies. And so, yes, sometimes the occasional quickie can, so for example, for me, sometimes I'll request a quickie from my lover husband and I'll just be like, okay, you know what? Got a bit of intensity in my body right now. Would you be willing to would you be willing to have sex with me? Sometimes he'll say yes, sometimes he'll say no. And on the lucky occasions where I get a yes and he does contribute to my body, it'll often, for me, move out like tension and stress really fast. So when I choose quickies, I choose them as a tool to create more ease in my body. And it's more like having a chiropractor readjust your back. So there's different functions of quickies. For some people, it's like just to get your rocks off. For me, I often choose a quickie as a contribution to my body to shift something that I may be feeling tension or stress in my body, and it assists my body in having more ease and space. So, and sometimes too, it's like my body's like deep desire to contribute to a body that even if I get to for like 5 minutes can shift my sense of like hopelessness sometimes. So, and part of that is actually a chemical reaction that occurs. There's different chemical reactions in the body with orgasm or even with touch that can get kicked in with a quickie. And sometimes it's just like a little boost can definitely assist. So if you are willing to use quickies as a tool, how much fun can you have with them? And if you're doing quickies from an auto response, like somebody touches you, you feel obligation to sex or something, so you're like, okay, fine, let's have a quickie. I really encourage you to look at this and ask your body if it would desire and require that, because you may be just going through with it because you feel like, well, so-and-so wants it, so I'm going to say yes because this is better than nothing. And so is that choosing or that is it really stepping into and being present with what your body desires, or are you just kind of like going, whatever, I'll take whatever I can get, as if you couldn't receive everything and anything you desire, as if somehow only other people could and you couldn't, as if you are only valuable for quickies but nothing else. What if that's just a load of shit? So that's just what I got to say about that. What if you are far more of a contribution to bodies, to your body, to joy, to sex, to copulation, to all of it? What if you actually are far greater of a contribution? And if people are choosing you for quickies, what if they're just super aware that you have a capacity to contribute to their body to have ease? And would you be willing to acknowledge your capacity for assisting their body, and maybe start charging for it? Because you know what? If you're assisting with that body having more ease, luckily my husband doesn't charge me for sex, because I'd probably owe him quite a lot for all the times I've asked him to assist with a headache or assist with a backache utilizing sex. For me, it's one of the fastest ways to move energy. For me personally, it doesn't mean that's true for everybody. So, yeah, quickies can be a tool. Just like anything can be a tool, quickies can be a tool too, as long as you're choosing them from awareness. And how do you choose them from awareness? Is when you start to ask your body what it desires and requires. And if your body is just like, yeah, copulation, 5 minutes, bring it on. Awesome. And if your body's like, oh, copulation, 7 hours, and then instead of the 7 hours that your body's asking for, you go for the 5 minutes, your body will be like, but wait, but you said yes, but I really wanted, and it's almost like there's like a fluttery kind of like, but what about me? You forgot about me. Remember what I asked for, but you didn't give me, but. And it's kind of like a little kid who will just keep on nagging you until you actually gift it what it's been asking for. So truly, what has your body been asking for? Has it been asking for quickies? Is quickies for you kind of like popping the cork, and then after that it's like, oh, okay, now we can start flowing. Quickies can be like that too. They can be popping the cork, and then you go about. So for example, my husband's going to really enjoy that I'm using this example. So for example, sometimes I'll just be like, hey, in the middle of the day, I'll be like having some kind of intensity in my body, and I'll request a quickie, and then he may deliver, may not. And when he does deliver, then he will say later, sometimes he'll say, okay, cool, like later on, back in the sack or whatever, because, his body too will desire and require more, and sometimes just that quickie is just to shift the energy so that later on we can be more present without having the gotta get your rocks off energy in there. So if you are choosing quickies, would you also be choosing to ask, and what else is possible, and how does it get any better than this, and what more can I receive? You might find you receive more that day, that right after the quickie, 10 minutes later, he might be ready to rock and roll again. So quickies are not necessarily the end all, and they can contribute to greater if you choose it, and they can be a contribution to your body if it's what your body's asking for. And if your body's asking for more, would you be willing to acknowledge it and choose it, instead of negating your body and going, oh, yes, I know, body, you really desired to eat, I will say your body desired to eat some luxurious chocolate, and instead you were like, here's a chocolate chip, will you just deal with it and get over it? And your body's like, please, I really would just really like some amazing ice cream, chocolate ice cream that's super decadent and amazing, best chocolate in the world. And you turn and you're just like, yeah, I hear you, and here you go, chocolate chip. Would you be willing to gift your body what it's asking for? We might have the point of view, we don't have the time, we don't have the money, we don't have the, You know what? Your body is willing in so many ways to contribute to you having everything you desire. If you're desiring to keep choosing embodiment, ask your body what it can contribute to you to receive everything that could give it pleasure, you know? And if giving it pleasure means having body work done 5 times a week, ask your body to start contributing to allowing that to show up so you can have it. So our bodies are so adorable and amazing, and we just so negate them so frequently, and just like, oh, fine, I'll take the chocolate chip instead of the sweet, super delicious ice cream I've been asking for. Your body would like the super delicious ice cream. Are you willing to step it up and ask for it? Because if you're not, and then you start complaining like, but I didn't get the super delicious ice cream. You heard your body. You were listening. You negated it. You did not listen to it. You did not choose what it asked for. So stop blaming it for, having pain or sadness or whatever. What would your body like? And, it's not always the same person. Like, it may not be my husband that is going to, give me the 5 hours of cuddles that I would like. But in a class the other day, there was a girl in class whose body really desired cuddling, and she asked me to cuddle her, and I was like, wow, my body's really happy right now. I'm really happy with wow, cuddles, awesome. It doesn't have to come from the same person. You could be having the quickie with your husband and then turn around and have a cuddle with your best friend. Whatever works for you, please listen to what your body would like, and it's not always going to be the same, right? So your body might be desiring different energies. Like, yes, it could be the super great ice cream, and one day, and then the next day it's like, oh yeah, super great ice cream plus a piece of gold leaf. Thank you very much. So very fun that your body could continually add to and change what it desires, and for you to continually be in communion with it and asking it, especially when it comes to this quickie stuff, because it can create such a wonky thing in people's worlds where they start to feel rejected. The only person that can reject you is you. So would you be willing to include you in sex, even if it's a quickie, include you in, if your body would include you and your body in sex, if it's, hours, would you be willing to be present for 5 minutes? Would you be willing to be present for 2 hours and receive the people that you adore, receive the people that you're with, be present with the people that you're with, and just keep asking, what contribution can I be to receive all of this with total ease? Because, man, we have some troubles receiving at times. So asking what energy, space, and consciousness you can be to have ease with receiving may start to assist you with the quickies, with having, transitioning from the quickies to having a longer, duration of copulation. So please keep asking those things of yourself. And I probably had more to say on this topic, but I'm running out of time. So I want to thank all of you for listening tonight. I want to thank all of you for choosing embodiment, whether it's for this, just for today and tomorrow you're leaving. I just want to thank you for all of you for listening, for your presence, for choosing, and for being. And I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing week. And until then, check out my website if you like, www.milicajelenic.com. Check me out on Facebook and add me on Instagram. How much more fun can we have than we never imagined we could have if we just started to receive from each other? Have a great week.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.